Okay, thanks for joining me, Phil and Paul. We're here to help people to find out a bit more about what it's like to be part of the Securicare International franchise. So I'm joined here by Phil Hardy, one of the founders of Securicare International, way back, Phil, over 30 years ago, as it shows on your background. And Paul Richter, Securicare franchisee from Middlesbrough, who's coming up to your first year operating within Securicare. So I just do a quick couple of introductions then. Phil, would you mind just giving us a bit, anything more that I haven't said?
No, I founded Securicare back in 1995 with my then business partner, who's since retired, delivering training to the care sector and young persons services where I'd had experience. It grew and expanded into other sectors, including local authorities, charities. The airline industry engaged with us in the late 90s when air rage hit the headlines, and the aviation industry remains a big revenue stream for us. Any customer facing business or service, any job role where you have to interact with members of the public, where there's the potential for conflict or frustration, which can lead to angry or aggressive behavior, then there's a need for one or more of the products that Securicare have developed over the last 30 years.
Fantastic. Thanks, Phil. Paul, just a quick intro to you.
Yeah, good afternoon, everyone. My name's Paul Richter. I'm a Securicare franchisee. I've been approaching my first year now, and it's been an incredible journey. My background is in education, sport and leisure. I worked in education for 26 years, so that was one of the main sectors I was interested in developing with Securicare. Completed full training across four sectors: aviation, social care, education and lone person working. Didn't realise I'd enjoy aviation training as much as I did and a lone person working. So yeah, it's an incredibly interesting business to work in and a very supportive one as well.
Great. Thanks, Paul. Everybody's wondering why I've got such a green background. I'm Richard Fisher from Lime Licensing Group. We are a franchise consultancy company in the UK, around for around 17 years now. And I've been working with people for the last few years, helping them move from employment into becoming business owners. And in particular, franchising is a great way of doing that because it's low risk, you get a lot of support along the way, and a really good way to become your own boss. I've got a few questions for you, Phil, and then Paul. So, Phil, what inspired you to start Securicare International those years back?
I left the prison service as a physical education instructor and control and restraint instructor in '94 and joined local secure psychiatric hospital, health and leisure therapist, and to do the managing violence and aggression training within the hospital for the staff, which led to me developing a system around the risk assessments within the hospital. And that got quite a bit of interest from outside the hospital, from local authorities and other services asking if it was possible for me to develop and design training courses around their risk assessments, around their service delivery, and to manage their service user group. That led me to being a bit entrepreneurial, to think there's an opportunity there that needs to be made the most of. We incorporated Securicare UK Limited in 1995 and quickly expanded the business outside of care and local authority, social services and such like, into other sectors: Marks and Spencers, John Lewis's, Debenhams were three of us first retail customers that we managed to get on board when the in-house security teams. The business expanded quickly with a team of full-time trainers and freelance trainers that would deliver excess capacity. Full-time team led us on eventually to the franchise model, because we were using freelance trainers to absorb additional capacity. It just seemed a logical step to develop a franchise and allow people to develop their own business with the Securicare brand.
Great, thanks. You've answered three of my questions in one, so thanks very
Good.
much. So yeah, just thinking about, people want to know if they join the franchise, what will their day feel like? Will they be up to? And I'll ask you, Phil, initially, and then Paul, I'll ask you afterwards, actually, because both your perspectives will be very interesting. What they do day to day.
Training's the main part of the job. out on the road for a franchisee. It's within their territory, and we've tried to keep that to within a reasonable travelling distance. But travelling to most training is delivered at the customer's own venue. We don't actually have any training venues of our own. If we do need a training venue, we rent one. But 99% of the course delivery is at the customer's own venue or a venue that they provide. So as a franchisee, that will be the main job role that you have, delivering training. You've got to generate customers and do the training needs analysis to arrive at the right training solution for that particular organization. That could be half a day, it could be 3 days, depending on the risk assessment and the organization's training requirements. You need marketing skills, sales skills. We provide course administration, registration and certification nationally to franchisees. There's still a certain amount of admin you have to do with regard to courses, depending on which sector you're working in. There can be different regulatory requirements depending on the training you're delivering. I'll leave Paul to pick it up from there.
What's your thoughts, Paul? What might a day feel like?
Yeah, the first period of the role really was the training. So whilst I am qualified, I am an experienced trainer. I wasn't experienced in the sectors apart from education. It was spending a lot of time on the road, traveling with Phil's directors, Joanne and Carl, who are incredible in their fields and give so much feedback to you. But yeah, taking part in those trainings across the 4 different sectors, learning the skills again, making sure you perfect them. Once I'd done that, I felt comfortable and I got the feedback from the directors. It was the second thing Phil said, sales and marketing. You need to be confident in front of people. You need to be confident about the products you are selling, both from a descriptive point of view, but also to work out how those products are going to sit in with those particular businesses. Naturally, the first one for me was education, which I did comfortably and quickly. I've had a look, 12 new customers to the business, Securicare and my own franchise. Initially, the training, you're going to be representing Securicare, which is an incredible company with an incredible team with a huge skill set. So you've got to be at that standard. And that's difficult, but you get a lot of support. Then it was the sales and marketing, making sure you've got a good strategy. Which sectors are you going to target? How are you going to target them? And also getting some support off Phil and the team. So yeah, those were my 2 big things.
Fantastic, thank you both. A mixture of sales and marketing skills, interpersonal skills, and obviously to become a qualified trainer if you're not already. Fantastic. So back to you, Phil. So just thinking about those things that we're looking for, what training and support would you provide at launch and ongoing?
Paul came to us. We trained Paul as a trainer within the organisation he used to work for prior to him taking on the franchise. So his background in special educational needs, we trained Paul to deliver training in those settings. So he came with that skill set and obviously a qualified trainer on top of that. We can, where necessary, provide a level 3 qualification in training. We then have to get people sector competent. Or Paul now would be part of that team. If we needed to get somebody trained up in educational settings, Paul could support new franchisees in that particular role. We have other members of the team, but Joanne's background is healthcare, but also aviation. She was cabin crew and cabin manager and now heads up the aviation training. Carl's background was security and lone worker, personal safety. So we have expertise within the team, and we've then got to pass that expertise on to the franchisee. They have to pass sector competencies before we'll let somebody deliver in a sector. We want to know that they're competent to deliver training to the Securicare standard in that sector. We want franchisees to be as versatile as possible. If they bring contracts in outside the current skill set, we will work with them to upskill the delivery in that sector. We don't want them missing out on training, so they'll get the support they need until confident and competent to deliver in that sector.
Great, thank you. Okay, so I'm going to ask you both this question. I'll start with you, Phil, and then I'll move to you, Paul. This is a question people ask. They're imagining starting somewhere different. Securicare started off in Europe, but I know it's obviously got clients everywhere. Paul, you operate in the Northeast. How do franchisees find clients, and what support does head office give?
Well, first, we'll support them to work across as many sectors as possible. The more skills you have, the more sectors you can work across. Some require regulatory requirements, and we can work towards the franchisee gaining that accreditation where necessary. We'll give them we have marketing materials. We can provide some marketing support. We have an external marketing company that we use that will support franchisees as well with various marketing campaigns to find new customers. We have a 30-year-old customer base, and that sometimes requires us to use trainers outside of us core team. So where we can, and we've done it with Paul, where we can, we provide additional days training to our own existing customer base when the capacity is there, rather than turn the business down. Franchisees are required to find their own customer base, and then we'll help them develop that and develop the training that's required to meet those customers' needs.
Yeah, you're effectively showing them the blueprint for how Securicare started and developed itself over 30 years and has been operating 30 years, and mentoring people to effectively start their own version of Securicare in wherever they operate. Requires hard work.
It's been the same for 30 years. You need to identify potential customers, engage with those customers, send them out information with all the information that you need to engage with the customer, and then we'll support you with virtual meetings or face-to-face meetings. The team's got a great deal of experience in negotiating training contracts, and we'll help
That's super
franchisees do that initially until they have the confidence and competency to do that themselves.
Fantastic. Thanks, Phil. So, Paul, I was going to ask you the same question because you've been obviously you are that first franchisee, and great news. You've already become an expert that could be relied upon. So, I'd be interested to know how Phil and the team help you as you launch your Securicare business.
Yeah, I had a bit of an advantage before I started because in my previous role, which was in a specialist education setting, I bought Securicare services to support our staff. I'd worked with them for 10 years, and then the opportunity came up to join. I knew the training materials and the support and the aftercare that Securicare gave, because a lot of companies promise that it's not just a day's training, when in actual fact, when you've worked in a sector for as long as I had, that's what a lot of them do. Securicare was very different. The aftercare, the support, the training was first class. So yeah, I had a little bit of a head start on that. So I knew the business very well and the people within it. But the support they give you, incredible, right from the training. You've got to put the work in. You've got to learn the 4 sectors and the different businesses. You've got to research the physical skills. You've got to research the PowerPoints and come up with your own angles. They are there as sounding boards, but you really have to put it over in your own way. The training materials are incredible, but you do have to do your own research and fine-tune your skills. In terms of the support, 10 out of 10, I can't speak highly enough of it.
It's great to hear. Thanks, Paul. And a question for you, Phil. I'm nearly out of questions for you, but you'll be pleased to know. People are looking at market potential, the future, and AI proofing. How do you see the demand for the services that Securicare provide? How do you see those in the coming years? Increasing? Any risks that people should be aware of?
Continuously expanding into other sectors. We've done work with charities, food banks, and other organisations over the last 12 months, which are new avenues for us as a business after 30 years. There seems to be no shortage of people willing to have a go at members of staff, unfortunately. The demand for training, I can't see it receding at all. If anything, it's going to increase over the next few years. We have online learning materials to support face-to-face delivery. And we've seen growth in that part of the business. That's available to franchisees to resell to their own customers, which can provide additional revenue. And in some sectors, we have equipment, restraint equipment, and other goods and services that are upselling opportunities to potential customers. And we're constantly looking for and developing new products and services. The phone's buzzing in the background now, which is bloody annoying. I've put it on silent.
People trying to reach out all the time.
We're constantly looking for new products and services that we can offer. With a program in development at the moment on managing emotional dysregulation, which we've had a lot of interest expressed from existing customers. Some franchisees will have ideas of their own, and we can help them develop and implement those products as well.
Fantastic. And one final question, Phil. What's your vision? What are you hoping the world might be like for Securicare International with its franchise network?
We've started in the UK, where we're based, although we work in Europe, the Middle East, and further afield, predominantly with airlines. We've focused on launching the franchise package in the UK initially. As I say, Paul's his first active franchisee. We want to continue to develop that franchisee product in the UK. We have multinational companies we already work for, so there's potential to expand outside of the UK as well once we've established that product and can support franchisees in the UK. It's much easier to expand outside of the UK once we've got the model working and supporting franchisees fully.
Thank you. Fantastic. Okay. Thanks, Phil. I think I've got all my questions answered. So, Paul, something people will be wondering will be based on their own backgrounds. Is this something they could, transfer their skills to? So, just a sense of what you were doing prior to coming to Securicare. What was your previous role?
Yeah, I've been involved in sports development and business management for years, but mainly it was education. I managed a large special education needs provision post 16 and worked in that for 26 years. So that is my background. So that's where I first came into contact with Securicare. I've done lots of training, I've done lots of coaching, I've done lots of sort of speaking in public and at meetings and things. So standing in front of 30 people in a training room's not really a daunting prospect for me. Some people it might be, and that's something that you might want to give consideration to in terms of holding a room, getting your points across. And people do challenge you in those training sessions: education, aviation, health and social care, and then lone person working. You have to be able to field questions and put the points across appropriately and ensure learning's taking place. So it is a big consideration for new franchisees. That's not to scare anybody off, because the enjoyment you get from a day's training, I'm sure Phil will say from doing it for a lot longer than me, is a real buzz. It's a real enjoyment. But you've got to be able to stand up in front of people and make slides interesting, informative, and make them bespoke to the business that you're delivering to.
Great, thanks. Now, I know you mentioned that prior to being part of Securicare, you'd had a customer, you'd had some Securicare training, it sounds like it. So what appealed most of the idea of becoming a franchisee of Securicare?
I think that what appealed most to me, I'm very interested in developing businesses, and I have done it in the past. And it's such a good company to work for. I'd been on the customer end, but whenever I picked the phone up, there was no charge for that. It was the aftercare stuff and the knowledge and understanding of the staff in place who are still there. You can always judge a company by its staff and how much they've developed the company, as well as the managing director, which is Phil. So that appealed to me most, being associated with somebody who was, or somebody in the organisation that was like industry leading in my eyes. And believe me, I'd researched every company that did this type of training, and they were the leaders across all sectors.
Fantastic. So far, you've been there nearly a year and things have been going really well. What type of clients or sectors have you been able to work with so far?
Yeah, so being brutally honest, after our training across the four sectors, I pretty much ruled out health and social care. I didn't particularly enjoy those courses. Loved working in the care sector with the people, but that wasn't my skill set. Education was the first port of call for me because it's what I know and I understand. But then aviation was incredible. Loved it. The people, the business, the training, very fast paced. My personal favourite, better than education and aviation, was
Mm.
working with clients such as British, the RSPCA, the Home Office. You know, the company Securicare is industry leading, but so are the clients it works with. So yeah, that's what I enjoyed the most. Yeah.
Great, thank you. And what would you say the biggest challenge you've had since joining, and how have you overcome it?
The biggest challenge is developing a business. I set ambitious targets within the first year of 20 new clients. That was for myself. On 12 at the moment with 3 months left. I started officially at the end of February after I'd completed my training. I started my training in January. Phil and I and Joe had been having conversations from sort of last December, but I didn't feel I could start doing sales and marketing until I'd done the training myself. You know, I wanted to be prepared, well prepared, and that's in everything I do. So yeah, the biggest challenge, getting new clients.
Hmm.
I wouldn't sugarcoat it. You've got a great base when you're sending out emails, making phone calls, putting the hard yards in. You've got great You've got great examples to give of businesses that they already work within those sectors. But yeah, that's undoubtedly the hardest part of the role. And you've got to be relentless. Don't think 10 calls and 10 emails get you 10 clients. It's not. You've got to come up with your own strategies and you've got to be diligent, but you've also got to be determined to get those new clients, in which I have been. I still think I'll get to 20 within 12 months.
You're pretty impressive. That was the most challenging. And what about the most rewarding?
Getting a new client on board is incredible. But for me, I love doing the training and working with some of the clients that I have already, the Home Office, Virgin Atlantic, some of the local authorities. Yeah, superb. You know, the feedback that I got from the training that I was delivering and then sending all the forms back into the head office, that just gives you a real buzz because you know you've done a good job. People don't lie on those training forms.
I can endorse what Paul said. I don't deliver as much training as I used to, but I still get out half a dozen days a year to deliver training, and it's still a buzz. It's like Paul says, when you get applauded at the end of the day, it makes you smile all the way home.
I've seen some of that training. I've actually took part in one of that loan worker training. You're right. People love it. They're up and doing or getting out restraints and things. I can see why it would be a great day and super rewarding. Final question, Paul. What would you say to somebody watching and thinking about joining?
Think very carefully about how it fits in with your life, your family, your other work commitments, if you have any, and and see how that all fits together. For me, it fitted absolutely perfectly. Alongside this, had a chance to develop my own post-16 alternative provision in the education sector. It opens doors for me in Securicare, being in those meetings regularly where people are asking for those types of training. So for me, it fitted perfectly in terms of my lifestyle, my family, and the other work. So yeah, I think that would be the biggest thing that I would say as a new franchisee. Think carefully how it fits into your life and be prepared to work hard. You will definitely get the rewards.
Great. Thank you both. What I've liked about meetings with Securicare, it's very open and honest conversations. You know, the good and the bad is been very clearly explained. What I like about the franchise is that people can start part-time. You don't have to start full-time. Obviously, the idea is you will become hopefully too busy, but there's an opportunity to bring people on at that point. You mentioned that, Paul, you can retrain yourself as a level 3 trainer as part of this. And what I also like is finally is that you guys are really want to be absolutely sure it's the right sort of franchise for people. So you'll be just careful on their behalf to make sure that they're joining the right franchise and the business opportunity. We've had days out, seeing the training. So it's a very thorough company, thorough in everything it does, which I think is very reassuring from anybody who who might just want a conversation, which is all it really starts with, the conversation. And what I'm going to do is, following this video, the video is going to go out to people who've asked about this franchise, and there will be a link in the video. So if anybody's watching this and has thought, you know what, it's worth a further conversation, I'm going to put a link in in the email. Just click the link and book some time, and I'll have a quick chat with you. A big thank you to Phil and Paul for giving up your time and being open and honest with your thoughts and experiences so far.
Thanks, Richard.